What was the budget? There was no budget, honey. Honey, you have no budget. Budget, what's that?
Right now and say I bet she probably accepted everybody's message. Go.
Oh!
Yeah, I'm denying.
I don't know. Okay, cool. He's denying that he sent you a message. Pull it up.
5 minutes later.
I did DM you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was 2 years ago. I don't care if I was you 2 years ago. What are you talking about?
No.
You said 6 months ago. You said 6 months ago.
That's the truth. What's a cheater? Always a cheater, you piece of shit.
What's up, y'all? It's Brian Keith, and I'm back with another video. Today, we're going to be talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 15, Episode 2, Sisters Before Misters. And yeah, you know, Sheree right now, she's really fighting for her life. My man. So y'all like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Let me check my shit real quick. Hotter than the fire coming out my flaming lips. You wanna play with me? You can't play in me. On the playground, bitch, you can't play with me. Got it, won it, securing the bag.
Alright, so the episode basically picks up where it left off. Kandi over here about to bust Courtney upside her head.
Bitch, okay, you better. Okay, you know what?
No. What's going on? No.
What happened? Did you keep doing this in my face?
But we jump over to Sheree and Kenya. So Kenya basically gives Sheree like a heads up, you know, of Martell potentially cheating, and she calls him over to confront Kenya. Her calling Martell over, I don't know what that would have done besides escalate the situation, but I mean, it is what it is. So all this happening, Kandi, you know, they finally separate her from Courtney. And you know, Don Juan was like, you know, when she was over here popping up, I was like, whoa. Don Juan, I didn't see you do that. Maybe they edited it out, child. We don't know. But I saw Todd pull her back, but I didn't see you jump in, Don Juan. But you know, yeah. So you know, Sheree tells Martell about, you know, the rumor, and you know him. He's like, you know, I'm always with you every time I'm here. So I mean, I don't see what the deal is.
So they pulled me to the side and told me that you're dating someone else in Atlanta.
Every time I come to Atlanta, I'm always with you, so.
But Martell, he's very quick. He's very quick with it, right? So Mayetta was like, you know, she thought she was slick.
Okay, so she's non-existent anymore, basically.
No, we ain't gonna say anymore. We're gonna say
Ever.
period.
It was like, you know, so the girl's non-existent anymore. And Martell was like, he said, there's no anymore. There ain't none of that. I'm just like, Mayetta, you really thought you had. She tried that one. He caught it. So Sanya comes over to Kandi, and she's basically trying to check on her, like, are you okay? Just
Why would she keep bouncing her head in my face?
No, I told her I said she should have chilled. I just met her with Sheree like this week.
Oh, that's why she's Sheree's friend. That's why she's bouncing.
and the third, but I agree with Kandi. Like, at the end of the day, we're friends and we cool. And like I told my friend before, I was like, you know the people I don't like, you're my best friend. You know the people I don't like, even my friends. You know the people I don't like. So if you know that they're here, or you was, first of all, if you was over here just kicking with them, side eye anyway. But you know the people I'm not cool with, and you know I can be cordial, but don't let me walk into some mess and walk into some BS, and then have somebody over here trying to expose me or go off on me, and me just caught off guard. Like, you should have gave me a heads up. Like, look, you know, this girl was saying this, that, and the third. I don't know what's going on, but you know, I'm just gonna give you a heads up. Simple, you know. But Sanya didn't do that, and she tried to tap dance. Sanya literally was tap dancing around a lot of it, like, oh, I had your back. No, you didn't, Sanya. You are literally becoming a bone carrier, and it's getting messy, Sanya. But you know, it is what it is. So Sanya basically walks over to the other group and let all the girls know that, you know, Kandi was about to fight. She was over here, and now I heard somebody say, oh yeah, redhead Kandi.
You guys, I'm sorry, what's going on? This girl, she was like, you need to calm down. She said, I said.
So basically, when everybody comes over, Kandi tells them, like, you know, what happened. And then Kenya's like, well, you know, she's very animated. She's very animated. And when they show the flashback of, you know, Courtney doing a... So everyone, you know, including the friends, get together, and, you know, Kenya's like, okay, you know, you made my friend mad. What's going on here? And like Kandi said, like, okay, we can have this conversation another time, because right now is not the time. I'm over it. And I'm just like, Kenya, I get it, but you know, too soon, you know. So Sanya does an outfit change, and she just dipped, basically saying like, y'all can clean up the mess. I'm out. So Sheree's over here talking. She's like elaborating what's going on. He's like, can she talk? Can she talk? I'm just like, okay, here we go. And Kenya, she jokingly is like, oh my God, you're so aggressive. Martell throws shade at Kenya. He's just like, at the end of the day, she gonna answer everybody DMs with her phone anyway. So Kenya was like, excuse me?
And say I bet she probably accepted everybody's message. Go to right now. Say.
You talking about me?
I'm just saying.
Are you serious? He's
Basically calling her, she said that he basically trying to lose the fact that she's a hoe. I wouldn't say it's a hoe. thinking that he probably called you like thirsty, like Sheree. But I don't know. So Martell, you know, he said, I didn't send no DMs. I didn't send no DMs. So, you know, Kandi was like, oh, you did it. Pull him up there. Pull him up there. I was just like, okay.
Are you denying that you sent Mary?
Yeah, I'm denying.
I don't know. Okay, cool. He's denying that he sent you a message. Pull it up.
And you see him in the background when Kandi said pull him up, he pulled his phone out. And then he just barged over and he over here just start putting his phone in people's faces. Like, sir, that's not proving anything. They already saw it. He's like, oh, it was 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. So I'm just like, okay, cool. It wasn't 6 months ago. So, you know, can you distress that? A lot. And he feels validated. He's like, you know, it was 2 years ago. It was nothing recent, blah, 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 blah. So Martell says, you know, I don't give up about this, da, 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 and walks off. Kenya was like, first of all, who are you cussing at? Boo, 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 boo.
What's a cheater? Always a cheater, you piece of shit. Let me say something real quick. Sheree, that's the same type of man that you have dealt with before.
And start going ham. And at this point, I'm just like, how did we escalate this so fast? Now, do I feel like Martell escalated the situation? Yes. Kenya also played a role into it, which I don't want her to like negate the fact that she played a role into it. Because she brought it up at that party. She could have brought it up, you know, out to dinner, another place when she went by Sheree's warehouse, something else. But you brought it up there, so if he felt ambushed, he felt ambushed. That's just valid, right? So, you know, Sheree's like, y'all over here setting him up. Y'all setting him up. And Kenya's like, you know, you go after the same guy. He's a cheater. He's this, he's that. Like, he's just like Bob. And I'm just like, ooh, girl. Kenya really was low-key trying to, like, she was gathering Sheree, but she was hitting some low blows because my whole thing is, like, we all know how Bob treated Sheree. And they showed a little clip about him choking her.
Never choked you.
Yeah.
Could you still breathe?
That's not funny.
Maybe I didn't choke you hard enough.
I'm just like, to throw that in her face, it was a low blow. Because if somebody started throwing all the people that Kenya dated on the show in her face,
I mean, Marlo do.
But I'm just saying, as if they did that, then how would you feel, Kenya? Like, you know, you want to always, you know, they did this to me, so that's why I did this. But I'm just like, you know. But Sheree basically walks off. Kenya was like, it's not even that deep. And then Sheree's like, so why you bring it up? And walked off. I said, oh.
Yeah, thank you for your kind words. Girl, he was also on the deep, though. Exactly, so why bring it up? A DM is trying to open a conversation. So why bring it up?
But, you know, finally, the next day, we see Drew Sador. She's here, and she basically went to Chicago because her father has Alzheimer's. And that hits a chord for me because, you know, my great-grandma, when I was in high school, she, you know how people do senior projects? That was my senior project. But she had Alzheimer's at that point from 11th grade to 12th grade. And unfortunately, freshman year of college, she passed away, this and the third, you know. But yeah, it hits a chord with me, and I kind of get upset with Ralph because that's something very serious. Like, it's someone's mental very much diminishing over time, where they're forgetting things, forgetting their way of life. Over here, can't remember sometimes who you are, so it's sad. And for Ralph not to even go with his wife and just try to attend a party, I don't like that. I feel like, regardless of the fact, especially something serious like this, you should support your wife and stand in solidarity with her. But you didn't do that. What you did was stay in Atlanta to go to a party. What else he did, we don't know. But, you know, Drew, basically, she's going to start doing her music. And, you know, she goes up to the history about, you know, she was signed to a couple labels. She was in a girl group called Mo Tempo. And her single is called Already Know. Ralph also, he feels, you know, Drew in a little bit with the whole drama at the party, and you know, he said, you know, I'm related, I'm cousins to Courtney, this and the third. And I remember hearing that on the first episode, but I just thought they was always just, you know, joking around, but I guess they serious. But yeah, it is what it is. But we go out to eat with Kandi and Sanya, and you know, Kandi tells her, you know, I'm super busy, I got contracts, I got time. Sanya is like, yeah, you know, I'm ready to, you know, get the family move out. I'm trying to have baby number 2, you know, this, da, 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 da. So Sanya, you know, I feel so torn about having my family. I want my space, but, you know, I want my family here. You know, there's so much we can do together. We're just hitting our stride. Girl, get them people out your house. What are you doing? At the end of the day, your husband's ready for them to go. They already over here talking about they sick of you. Y'all probably just need space, and I feel like your space away will actually bring y'all together. That's what happened with my family. Because I was living with them, they told my nerves up. So now you know, I talk to them damn near every day. So, you know, we talk about the porky. And Sanya tells Kandi, you know, Courtney was basically calling you like ghetto. She said that when you posted going to some location, like some like bar or club, and she was like, the next weekend, she said Kandi brought the hood out.
You brought the hood out to the place, and she's like, that's why she's making that kind of content.
The crowd the next week? Ghetto.
And she's like, basically they were like, yeah, you know, Kandi over here, she is like, she said that Kandi called her ghetto, but I don't think it's that Kandi called her ghetto. I just feel like Kandi has a certain demographic of people, but she's from Atlanta. She supports, you know, Kandi's locations of all her businesses, I won't say all, but majority is in the heart of Atlanta. And that's a cute way of saying it. But, you know, Kandi has people that love her down. I like Kandi, but the people they're going to support her, and if they are that demographic, they're their demographic. I don't think she's ever going to be like, oh my God, no. Kandi's always going to be authentically Atlanta, period. So, you know, Kandi tells Sanya, you know, okay, so she's over here Kiki and calling me ghetto, this and the third. What did you say? What did you say to defend me? What was your rebuttal to that?
It was talking to you and said that I was ghetto. What did you say?
And then Sanya's like, oh, well, you know, I just told her, well, you need to talk to her and just figure that out, da. And Kandi's like, okay, so you didn't take up for me. Because I would have been pissed too. If my friend was just like, yeah, Brian, you know, they were over here dragging you through the mud. And, you know, I just told him, like, you know, y'all need to talk to him about that. Because Sanya, one thing Sanya going to do, she going to laugh. It's coming off disingenuous, Sanya, and I'm not trying to call you fake, but I'm just like, if you my friend, I'm not telling you to put on the whole armor of God and fight for me, but at least try to have my back and say, oh, you know what? Like what I did, there was a situation where me and like 8 other people, we all went out to dinner, and my best friend got brought up, and there was just like, yeah, you know, your friend, he wants a da. I said, before we even go into this conversation, tread lightly. 1, 2, that's my best friend. I don't feel comfortable to have this conversation without him present. So if you want to have that conversation, we can set up something. You know, we can go out for breakfast in the morning. I can invite him and we can have this conversation. If not, don't bring it up around me. Y'all can have that conversation elsewhere, but in front of me, we're not doing that. That's just the person I am. And so Sanya's in the confessional. She's over here trying to save herself. She's like, well, you know, I didn't think she was calling Kandi ghetto. I think she was just referring to, like, you know, since Kandi's so worldwide.
I didn't feel like she was calling Kandi ghetto. Almost to me, I thought she was trying to make reference to the fact that everybody said Kandi was worldwide last year. And
girl, you talking about she brought the wrong crowd in. So if you, that's why I was like, Sanya, you really trying to save it. You're not saving it because you just said that, you know, she said that she brought the wrong crowd. So if Kandi's so worldwide, then it don't correlate. It don't make sense. We transport over to Kandi and Todd. They head to Blaze, and they're basically changing up their menu. And we see fine ass Philip, and you know they over here about to open up a Mexican restaurant. Well, Todd is, and no shade at all. But why would you over here open up a Mexican restaurant when 1, you know, your restaurants have been in shambles. 2, the sanitation score has been below a C. And, you know, long lines, I mean, that's positive, but power outages, you know, bullet holes. I'm with Kandi. Like, at the end of the day, you trying to put all your eggs in multiple baskets, and then I'm just like, you spreading yourself too thin. Like, what are we doing, Todd? I get what he's saying. Yes, because he's like, yeah, you know, I'm making money. But that's a pro and a con because your driving force, the passion is out of it. Your driving force is to make money. So I feel like if you don't have passion for it, you're not going to put 100% into it, which is why the sanitation scores have been nasty. Okay? So, you know, Kandi's cousin walked in, and his arm is in a sling and this and the third, and they acting like everything is over his sweet. So the producer come in, he was like, oh, so we're not gonna talk about.
Can I ask you a question?
what?
What you need, cuz?
We're not gonna talk about the elephant in the room?
He was like, we're not gonna talk about the elephant in the room. And Ken was like, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. So basically, and I want to shout out to that producer because thank you for keeping it going because ain't nobody got time, right? So basically, Kandi's cousin was the kitchen manager. He got in an argument with one of the employees that came in drunk, intoxicated. They went outside and the guy shot him. So that's where, you know, everybody was like, you know, this is crazy. We don't want Kandi to have violence in her establishment. Since the third, Sheree's like, you know, one thing about Kandi's restaurant, you're going to either get biscuits or bullets.
We don't know when we go to Old Lady Gang if we're going to get biscuits or bullets.
My whole thing with Kandi, like her, the way she was acting with the situation, she was like, how you doing? How you feeling? It just seemed like she's so desensitized to the situation. Like, girl, he just got shot. If that was my cousin that worked for me, like a close cousin that was working close with me and got shot, I'd be over here on the floor crying. Like, maybe she, you know, we don't know. But I'm just saying, in that moment, it just seems just like, so what? What's going on? How's your day? The wind's blowing. Like, I don't know. So we transfer over to like this little scene, and Kenya and Brooklyn meet Akila and her daughter, and they're over here playing tennis. And you know, after they play tennis, you know, Kenya talks to her, and they basically talk about, you know, Kenya's talking to this man. Obviously, like I said last episode, his name is Roy. But in the middle of the conversation, we transfer over to Sheree and Sanya. They're over here meeting for dinner. Sheree is now grandma, but you know, Sheree asked her, you know, about the whole DM situation. Well, Sanya asked Sheree about the DM situation.
Put these labels on these black men. He's feeling like he has to defend himself. And after he realized, he's like, I don't give a if I tried to you 2 years ago.
And Sheree is like, you know, Kenya is trying to say that he is so aggressive. That's what she said about Ross last year. Like, why is we trying to go with this narrative? Sanya is just rolling her eyes because, like I said, she's just over the situation. But Sanya, you haven't, you know, I don't know. Sanya always giving me this weird energy towards Kenya, but every time she see Kenya, it's always, hey, girl, hey, what's up, girl? I'm just like, it's weird to me, right? Sheree was like, at the end of the day, don't come at me. If you don't have all the facts and all the info, don't come at me with all of it. Have everything and all your ducks in a row. Because basically she's saying, like, if you come with me with, if anything seems like I can make up something or run another narrative that fits my ideology, I'm gonna go with that. So you have to come with her with facts and double facts, because if she can find a loophole, she's gonna find it to excuse the situation, right? So, you know, both Sheree and Kenya, they both are here just feel weird about the friendship, and they just trying to talk and figure it out because they both been in toxic relationships. So, you know, they're trying to figure that out. The next day, Ralph and Drew, they hit to the studio and they tell the engineer, like, yeah, we just dropped a new song and it's fire. And the engineer's like, I haven't heard it.
Yeah, told me to come in here. I was like, man, I definitely got to get in here and have a quick session. So now we here. Yeah.
We just put out a song, independent.
Really? I haven't heard it.
So we listened to the song. Like I told you, I already listened to the song before. The song, I like the song. I think the song is really nice. But, you know, Drew's like, you know, I'm about to drop an EP after singing on the show. All my notes is over here hitting. So I definitely want to, you know, pursue music more. And I looked on her Spotify. She got a couple songs, you know, Drew sounds, you know, pretty cute. So, you know, my whole thing for me with the Housewives world, the top of the bar is Candace. So if you sound better than Candace or close to that, then cool. I'm not mad at that. But for me, the top of the bar is Candace. I don't see anybody that put out music that was better than Candace in the Housewives world, right? I mean, you got Flatline by Portia on display. Tardy for the party. I want to shout out the engineer as well for navigating the conversation by asking questions. Like, he's like, how do y'all doing? How do y'all act when y'all in the studio? How are y'all collaborating? This and third. She was like, you know, this is our happy space. This, that, and the third. So I really like that. But it's also sad to see them in this place now over here, fucking rushing to the courthouse to get a divorce, right? Drew stands up and she sings live, and I like the fact that she's actually seizing the moment. Like, she realized, like, I'm filming the show, close to 1 million people are gonna watch this, so, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I'm trying to attract some labels, attract people to see my work and see my vocals. She sounded good, like, no hate. Drew sounded good. So we end the episode with Kenya and Sheree. And we're at Sheree's warehouse. She has product. You know, the website's not crashed down. And Sheree talks about, you know, her fashion show was the height of her, you know, success of her line, her label. But the site crashing, especially for me, when the site crashed, it just took all the air out of such a great, grand, you know, introduction to her brand. Kenya walks in and she talks about, you know, just coming back from filming the Housewife football commercial that we all have seen. Dak Prescott, that man fine. Damn. So they get on Martell and Kenya says, you know, I wasn't coming for him. And Sheree's like, at the end of the day, y'all both were elevated, to be honest.
We were too He's a man. You can't do that, Sheree. Sheree, don't do that.
No, you don't do that.
It's bros before hoes.
No, hoes before bros.
No.
But I do feel like Martell got elevated first. He was very pointed first. And she's like, at the end of the day, I don't know him. I don't want to get to know him. It is what it is. Sheree was like, you ambushed him. I mean, I do feel like you brought it up at an inopportune time. Keegan's like, at the end of the day, it is what it is. He was being very rude, very disrespectful. And Sheree was like, at the end of the day, you got to realize, like, you're over here making these, saying he's aggressive and this and third. Like,
I'm appalled at how Kenya treated Martell. She should be taking responsibility for her actions, but yet she's trying to defend herself. Yeah, she's mad because she got caught.
They talk about the whole DM thing was 2 years ago instead of 6 months, and you know the whole difference. Kenya, I mean, you did say 6 months now. At the end of the day, Martell started the whole situation. Kenya didn't even open up the message. She was just trying to be a good girlfriend and let her know, like, hey, look, you in this new relationship, I'm gonna be a little bit shady with this situation, but you know, I'm still gonna let you know more of the story. I'm just letting you know. Martell escalated the situation. That's just what it was. Like, it wasn't even that deep for it to get like this, right?
Because it never went anywhere.
But you can hold him accountable for how he acted toward me. A man should never speak to a woman in that way, whether he's angry or not.
But they don't see eye to eye, and I just feel like it's gonna get worse from here because they're over here throwing shots in the confessional. So it is what it is, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.